Well, not long ago, kale was considered kind of that throwaway item. Garnish a plate or two, then just chuck it in the trash when you're done, right? Not the case anymore. The once ignored little greenery is now a superfood. And as it turns out, it's also a really good viable crop for Georgia farmers who may be looking for another option. Truth is, just about every recipe site or cookbook these days has a way to use kale as its main ingredient. I mean, just look at some of this stuff. Kale chips, kale flatbread, kale soup, kale popsicles for crying out loud. And the many benefits of kale so popular, it's now a featured item on the menu of a national fast food chain. Just last month, Chick-fil-A launched their Super Side, a new kale and broccolini salad. The new superfood item, a collaboration with renowned Atlanta-based chef Ford Fry.
We decided that it's important for us to maintain relevancy within the menu. And that means having to make tough decisions about taking some items off in order to create space for new. And that's exactly what happened with the coleslaw. Back in my early days, from a fine dining perspective, kale was in the kitchen, but it was one of those leaves that you put on the plate to give a little bit of color and garnish your entree. Here today, we found a way within our kitchens to chop it fresh, mix in that fresh cut broccolini, toss it with our maple vinaigrette, and then serve it as a small or large side. We love the fiber content, we love the vitamins, we love the freshness, and really it gives our consumers who are looking for a healthy alternative to come in and get our meal at Chick-fil-A and feel good about the new side.
Our kale comes in pre-chopped. We buy it off the West Coast, and we bring that in twice a week into our local produce DCs. And we make deliveries out almost daily to our restaurants with that kale. We have met with Ag Commissioner Mr. Black on a few occasions, and just last year we began an initiative within supply chain to better understand locally grown produce. And in fact, we did start buying some items from a grower in Tifton, Georgia.
And one could say kale is now under the microscope in Tifton. UGA horticulturist Tim Coulong has become somewhat of an expert on the subject, studying the many different varieties of kale. According to Tim, he sees a time in the not-so-distant future when kale could have a major impact for the state's producers.
Probably in the last, I'd say, 5 to 8 years, it's really grown tremendously, and started off more in urban areas with chefs pushing new items on their menus, and then that's kind of grown to go to the rest of the country. I think in discussing with seed companies and growers, demand was skyrocketed almost for over a very brief period of time, and now it's starting to level off. Still much more acreage than was ever grown in the past, and so I think it'll be probably in line with some of the other greens that we grow when things kind of settle down and so forth. But still, Georgia traditionally has been the #1 brassica green state. That's turnips, your mustards, and so forth in the country. And so if we can pick up a few thousand acres of kale, that's going to help our farm economy overall.
All right, and speaking of Chick-fil-A, how about a moment of silence for our dearly beloved coleslaw, which is no longer with us. Yes, you will be missed by some, including me. 49 years, my friend. It was a good run. But hey, not all is lost. The secret recipe, no longer a secret, and it's now available to you, the consumer. Just log on to the web address you see there. That's gfb.org/coleslaw. Give it a try, see if it tastes the same, and maybe hit us up on Facebook to give us your feedback.